Okay, let's make
I've just hit the live button. You said go live. We're live now, by the way. But this is how we're going to open it. You said hit the button. I hit it. And last week you were like, Connor, you're too slow. So this time I hit it quickly. And now I'm too fast.
For once, Connor rolled initiative well. Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of Eat, Crit and Survive, where a bunch of people gather in different locations to play some Dungeons and Dragons, and Connor pushes a button. We're professionals, yeah.
Woo, buttons.
Woo! Do you want to do it back? I'll press it and then press it again.
Don't, no, we're
No?
fine.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. There's a peek behind the curtain that's our incompetence.
Because normally we hide that so well.
Yeah, right. Usually it's really good.
We would need to set up like a we're professionals count, and every time we say we're professionals here, still count.
Is it not?
You can hear us, but we're not on the picture.
Oh, apparently our picture's not there, Connor.
So when you Connor, so you gave us all that sass saying we were live.
I mean,
But
on my
actually-
screen it says it's fine.
We were only partially live.
Now we are.
There we go. Connor, would you like that second monitor? That,
I would love a second monitor
Yeah.
that I definitely have to return before January.
We saw that out.
Oh, I'm in Milton Keynes next Saturday.
Okay.
Well, I'm right dead centre.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's kind of really convenient now, isn't it?
Hello, everyone. Anyway, it is Friday, so it's D&D time. Hello, everyone who has just seen us in person for the first time.
Yeah.
I saw other people outside. It's great.
Home.
Yeah, it's nice to just see people.
Yours.
But, you know, it's not a problem to not have an excuse to go to your in-laws, so... Also, in your case, I love your mum.
Worst bit about it is we finished playing and then I had to drive home. It was exhausting.
Just,
He's never going to watch this.
I was going to say.
It's fine. We all hate it.
Clip it and ship it, boys.
Strong words. Anyway. So, welcome. We will go into our, where we began, or where we picked up from last time.
Where we began. Let's
From the
start
beginning.
all
Let's take-
over
yeah.
again. You said level 2.
Let's take it from the top.
Redo.
Last year has just been a practice run.
The first part of the script I wrote, this was all table read, so we're just going to go back to session 1.
Yeah.
Flashback.
Start off the session, and you wake up, and it was all a dream.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
What a great way to alienate your followers.
So where we last left off, the Wandering Stars had attached themselves to targeting Zuggtmoy to defeat the first of the Visionaries. You hunted her down, you made it through some mushroom spores, you cut your way through numerous beholder mushroom spore bags, and defeated Zuggtmoy in the ethereal plane. In doing so, Cedric and Asher absorbed the body with the help of Kafina, because she was also there. The help of Kafina absorbed the spirit and the soul of Zuggtmoy into the soul prison that they had gathered and forged specifically, and contained the chaos of the demons and the abyss within it. With that completed, they then made their way out of the terrible fungus location and were attacked shortly after discovering that their blimp had been stolen
Dude,
during
where's my
their time
blimp?
off. No idea whom by, but it is now gone. You returned to the beach and began to cast a teleportation circle, at which point you were attacked by some demons. In your already weakened state, they're looking to seek advantage. And in doing so, you managed to defeat them and send them, well, back to the abyss. And then Kafina recast the teleportation circle and sent you back. Sent you off to the Orionids Guild Hall in the Underdark. And that is where we left off. So, you are in the familiar and comforting-ish surroundings of the Underdark. In the Guild Hall of the Orionids with the usual array of creature heads set about above the wall and above the fireplace. What would you like to do?
Do we still? We haven't done anything with Cedric's family yet, so I think that's.
Nope, they are still on the carpet, dead.
All is let these fellow souls some peace.
Okay.
Use.
I don't know, Cedric. What are you doing with them? They're your
I
family.
know, Cedric and I. Where would you like me, or where would you like us to take them?
I'm sure there was a. Maybe I'm misremembering because it was quite a long time ago. When I was talking to Patron Bio, like I don't know, probably about a year ago in real time. I feel like there was like a graveyard or something here.
There is. There is a interment area where they actually mould the stone to create graveyards to then bury the creatures in, and they use the stones that's displaced to create the headstones.
Yes, this rings a bell. Yeah, so knowing where that is, I will just say to Lila, please follow me and bring them with us.
I grab the carpet by the tassel and walk it along.
I'll start walking in the direction.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I
You're all
quickly
welcome
whip to the shop and buy or take up a shovel?
You're going to go to the shop and buy a shovel?
Well, we'll need something to dig a hole.
Okay. You go and purchase a shovel.
Just quickly run and grab a shovel.
I feel like there are probably people on site who might.
Asher has left and gone to
Sure. Everyone,
it costs you one silver piece.
I've got a war pick.
you are my family, so you should also be here. So feel free to join. As I'm walking away.
Finally follows. Everyone else seems to be following just by the generic.
Waddle.
We're walking.
Have you
I'm
ever tried to
jogging.
walk without moving your head, Luke? It's weird.
Sorry.
Have you ever tried to walk without moving your head, Luke?
Yeah,
It's weird.
but I carry my shopping on my ears, so
Oh, so that's why people have those plug holes in there.
yes.
That makes sense.
So you make your way to the grave site where you stand there looking around for a decent spot to lay your family to rest. Asher returns very quickly with a shovel.
Got one.
And you then realise that all this area is stone.
Yeah.
That's fine. War pick it is.
As you find a decent spot, and as you're about to start picking it away, someone scurries over and says,
Yes, this is what I was expecting.
you have people to be interred?
Yes.
How many?
3, my family.
Would you like them to be in one grave together or individual ones?
One together, please.
Fair enough. He stands and what are their names?
So we have, as I quickly remember these names because you just made me panic that I forgot them.
It's awkward, isn't it, when someone asks you?
Yeah, because I just had a mild panic. We're good. We have my father, Arden, and my mother, Betha, and then Donnelly, my brother.
All right. He mutters an incantation, and a 6-foot deep hole opens in the ground as he brings it up as a tidal, sort of like a tidal wave and a monolith of stone that now sits above you as a.
And of course, Franklin's still seeing things.
Yeah. Farling, you have just seen the biggest penis you have ever seen come out of the ground.
Whoa. Whoa.
Currently plugged into my phone, I think.
You want it?
I mean, how charged is my phone?
94%.
No, fine.
Oh, you could solve.
So as it is passed from you, the bodies are lowered in with the carpet, so I assume the carpet is then taken out.
Yes, please! I've lost the crab, I'm not losing the carpet.
Bury the carpet in stone, it's fine.
No!
Is there any incantation or any scripture you want to have upon the memorial?
Yes. I at this point remember the favorite piece of wisdom that my father gave to me, which was all the suffering and joy we experience depend on conditions.
Yes.
Oh, I'd forgotten those.
I'm sorry, when was the last time you actually used one of those?
Yeah, it was quite a while ago. That's like this is the good moment to bring it back.
Mhm.
Got time.
Probably.
From way back when.
Like first campaign when he was.
This is first campaign. This is what I was using. Inspiration for the first campaign.
Yeah, I
So-
think I forgot. Why is it still in my
I mean, I've
purse?
probably had these like 5 years or something now. Where
Yeah.
this.
Very awesome.
Every
I mean,
time
to
I
be
go-
fair, if you wait a little bit longer, then they might actually still be usable as a calendar.
Every
true.
time I clean out my garage, I find another one that's been like, rolled up.
Yeah, because I just used to tear them off, scrunch them up, and throw them away.
I'll go and move a box or something, and I'll find divine wisdom.
The incantation is committed to memory, and the person brings the stone back over the bodies, leaving a headstone shaped however Cedric would like.
I think it would be just almost statues of them like huddled almost. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Sure. And it just says, "Here lies Arden, Bertha, and Donnelly. All the pain and suffering, etc."
Yeah. Yes. All the suffering and joy we experience depend on conditions.
Yes. And it is a fitting memorial for the three of them. Thankfully, you've seen that the person who has cast the spell and has come along, the Crypt Keeper, has been at least tasteful enough to not do the statues in the form of the body that they currently
Yes.
are, being somewhat decomposed.
Yes.
So they are at least fleshed out and look somewhat
That
like
was my
werewolves.
presumption, but yes, probably would have been worth clarifying.
Yeah, I felt like it was worth doing before
Yes.
someone did really creepy fan arts or something. Which, we would love.
Yeah.
If anyone feels like doing some, we'll have it.
I have plenty of wall.
Yeah. I'm buying a whole house, so,
Yeah.
All the art, all the art.
the creepy art can go in Matt's room.
That's me. Just on his ceilings when he wakes up.
Oh.
I would love that sort of thing where you bring someone back and they're like, "What is that?" And I'd be like, "Well, actually, my friend's mother, father, and brother died, and we buried them in the stone and had gruesome sculptures made, and I drew them
Why? Why not?
because I could."
But the bodies are now interred within stone, left to decay or to just be left forever preserved.
If you wouldn't all mind, I would just like a moment, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I walk away.
Yeah.
I'm in the little area.
Once everyone's kind of milled away, I'll probably just spend, probably at least an hour
Mhm.
or so. Just in like, basically like an hour's worth of silence, basically. Just memories and stuff, just to really kind of like take a moment, Cedric will just take about an hour, just take a moment to think about his life and how he's got to this point, basically.
Okay. Is anyone wanting to do anything in that hour?
Is it possible to find a
Sell a shovel.
small raft?
A small raft.
In a nutshell, Asher would also like to add some sort of Yorvikian sense to this.
A nutshell would be a very small raft.
Just send something down the river as such.
Okay. You are able to find a small raft. There's sort of a couple of, depending on how small you want it, there could be easily one that is a few planks bolted together.
Yeah. And then I need to borrow Lyrilla because I don't have the dexterity to hit this with an arrow. It could end up very far away before I hit.
It's like in Game of Thrones, where he just keeps missing.
Yes, that would be. I'll get it.
Oh, you fucking won. Funk. Nailed it. Goodbye.
Yeah, and just add some sort of Jorvikian send off to this as well.
Okay. You place a couple of things that you think might be relevant for the two of them, and you kneel and offer your prayers as Lyra takes the shot. Make an attack roll with the bow just for the hell of it.
17.
Okay, that hits easily enough. The flaming arrow arcs through the air and lands upon the raft.
Sorry, 14 because proficiency is correct.
Yes. The arrow lands upon the raft and begins to burn and smoulder, and slowly starts to float downriver.
I play a sorrowful tune on my lute.
Okay, make a performance check.
Oh, yeah, that would help. Why do I always forget that I need dice for a tabletop RPG?
It's funny, that one. Almost like you need to have a battle map when you're going to have combat with a bunch of people.
It's a good job you can't play this good.
That one.
Might have been. So a total of 16.
Okay. You play what you think would be a sorrowful lute song. For everyone else, it sounds ever so slightly out of tune. And
It's a while since I've played.
it's been a while since you played. It's been a while since this thing has been played, and it is somewhat out of your head. Is still a little ringing a little bit from various things that happened over the course of the day.
Yeah. So I think. Do I know we're from a family? So obviously we got everyone back together after the first lot of woo happened.
Oh, there's a lot of woo.
So do I kind of?
You've got a rough idea that something isn't right here. Foundling seems to be seeing things that are not really there.
How much fresh diamond do we have left, if any?
Many.
We got enough. Okay, that's fine. So I was going to say, if we didn't have any, I'd try and get Foundling to concentrate enough to do it, because we're going to need to do a hecking load of graters. I will try and just get Foundling back safe to the keep, not the keep.
You're going to the keep. You're going to the Guild of the Orionids.
Where did we just come from?
The Guild of the Orionids.
I might just I might just kind of hang around near the area, just keep an eye on him.
Okay.
So I don't actually know
Them.
them. Sorry, I don't actually know where we're going yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So while Kelatar's playing his awful yet beautiful song, Asher would have just said something in Jorvikian as a sense of for Odin to accept, these three lovely folk.
Make a religion check.
I know that they're Artemis followers, but
I'm not sure they are actually.
are they not? A religion, did you say?
Not particularly. Yeah, religion.
17.
Okay. You sit and you make a prayer and pass that through, and as you do, you feel Shatterfang just vibrate and resonate slightly.
You left it on silent mode.
Zzz, zzz. Not quite now, Odin. I'm busy. I will address Shatterfang at a later time, as I feel that this is not the time.
Solemnity is needed.
Sending a body down the river and go, the fuck do you want, sword?
Yeah, looking at my phone while there's a ceremony going on.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that you wish to do at this point?
Wait for Cedric and see where the collective group wants to go next. I'm incredibly tired.
Well, not quite as bad as you.
2 levels of exhaustion. I'm very tired.
If nothing else happens after now, I will try to find the majority of the group, depending on how scattered they are.
Okay, it's not that hard to find. They are pretty much all gathered up.
I was to say, shall we rest and prepare then?
Yes, but I think we need to, well, fix Founding first because they're still seeing things.
Hmm.
And I think a few of us are a little worse for wear.
I think I also need to have a bath or something.
Yeah, these mushrooms don't disappear, do they? Just
Yeah, do you feel itchy?
itchy?
Hmm.
I don't think so.
Maybe it's the type of mushroom that I smeared on myself then.
Possibly. I think I'm okay.
I don't know if I have the ability to do anything about that.
By ability, you mean spells?
Is there anyone we can go to that could help us?
Maybe.
Patron by all around.
No, you have not seen.
I feel like he
No.
showed up one time and we've never seen him again. Or twice.
You've been
It was
around quite. You've
twice,
seen
I
him like 3 or 4 times.
What I'm saying is he's definitely a bad guy.
You've never seen him with the bad guys in the same room.
Never seen him.
I can't remember if this will work or not, but I'll give it a go. I will try a remove curse on Foundling.
Okay. You cast remove curse. It makes no difference.
Branches.
Cedric, do you
Wait.
know if Greater Restoration will work?
I think that's where we had our success last time, yes.
Okay, sorry, my mind's a bit off. Here, Foundling, come here, come on. It's me, Fee. Yeah, hey, just stay still for a second. I'm just gonna, get the diamond dust out, and basically do this ceremony and use my very last slot on this.
Okay. So as the duck in front of you brings out this pile of what appears to be paprika and waves their wings around in the air with surprising dexterity, it shifts into Kafina and your mind is restored, Foundling.
Is that all the negative effects I was under, or just the one?
Just the madness.
Okay.
Or just the ones that were applied for madness. I believe you had 2.
As characters, how do we feel? How would lower proficiency affect a character?
It's that your mind doesn't remember how to do things. So if you become skilled and proficient in learning how to do things, your mind forgets some of those lessons and becomes less able. It's just like if your entire profession was opening jam jars, you couldn't remember lefty, right, lefty, loosey, right rotating.
Look at your arms like,
I'm sure this opens somehow.
yeah. Okay, I just wondered.
Okay.
Do we know anyone close by that might be able to?
I recognise this place. This is Pariah Deep, isn't it?
Yeah, we came. So okay, you've been out of this for a bit. Yeah, we were in the fight. You obviously got mine messed up. You're cured now. Sorry, we didn't notice earlier.
Okay. Did we win?
Yeah, well, we're here. We obviously did, or otherwise we'd be dead.
Could have run away.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever thought of doing that.
Cedric's not here. Is he alive?
Standing just there.
He is here.
Oh, he was behind me.
Yeah, I'll be right behind you.
Hello.
So, stereo hello then.
Right, what are we doing then?
Well, I think there's some things that we still need to maybe greater restorate us. Because
a verb now to greater restorate.
Yeah, greater restorate.
To greater restorate,
Is
to
that-
relieve immense stress and physical strain.
Yes. Because I think there's a few of us that still haven't quite got our minds back somehow. If anyone knows anywhere that we could go to, anyone that might be able to do it, that would be great.
Is there someone near here?
I did know a woman.
Oh dear.
Here, there are a couple of lower level clerics that were the bastions that would, do the funerals and such, and would cast things such as Speak with Dead and revive individuals if they had passed, if they wanted to be. You're not sure how powerful they are. Most of the time, they were able to speak to the dead. They weren't necessarily able to. They weren't the ones that were strong enough to use the roll of resurrection to do it for them.
Can't help to ask.
Okay, make an investigation check. Whoever is wanting to find these people. Me. Sure.
Alina wants.
I'm busy ruining my liver, so.
You mean leveling it up?
Absolutely.
25? Okay. You ask around, you go to the main temple that is based down here, which is a temple to Asclepius, god of medicine. And you have a chat with them. It seems that the clerics that are here are ones that they're not at a strong enough level to cast Greater Restoration. They're not versed well in the ways. Patient by all would be the one, but he is currently off on some sort of aid mission.
Evil mission.
Yeah.
They know where the nearest place would be that has someone.
The surface. They have lived down here for a very long time. They don't know. They don't particularly know. They know that something bad is going on up top. They don't know what.
So we can either head back to somewhere or stay and get some rest and fix people, or we can go and find people to fix and then rest.
Yeah, Leela, we don't really have a way out of here anymore. I just used the last of my magic to fix Foundling. I can't move us anywhere, and we don't have the ship, so...
I think we're better off resting here.
It's safe here, at least.
I
I hope.
Okay. Where are you taking your night's rest?
Guildhall?
Okay, I had two conflicting answers.
I don't know.
Don't we have a
Don't
key?
you have a castle down here?
We have a
We
keep
have a
here.
keep.
I'm just thinking the Orion is probably more comfortable, but the keep is absolutely fine. I would.
Keep is comfortable enough. You haven't spent a huge amount of time in it, but there's enough furniture in it that Duragar used beforehand. That is.
Yeah, I'm sure those bodies would have decomposed now anyway, because we never cleaned them up.
The Octopus cleaned the place up.
Yeah.
Other people that have been cleaning it since you cleared the the Duragar out.
Yeah, the octopus.
No, the mortals rather than the occupied. Okay, so you head your keep. It has been kept particularly clean. There are dried meats and long shelf life stuff that are stored.
This is where we left Cruz.
Yeah, that's where you left Cruz. He's been buried. You buried Cruz in
Okay,
town. You
just
didn't.
checking. The last I remember, we left him in that chair with the spine on him.
That was at the Guildhall of the
Okay,
Orions.
I'm in the right area.
Yeah, you're in the right part of the world. But you are able to take a few hours here, remembering that this, when you got up and you sort of got through to do this part of the mission, you're only really going to wait for about 6 hours at this point.
See if there's rest.
So, to be fair, they have been busy.
You have been busy and you are exhausted, but
Night and day, nothing when the end of the world is approaching.
If that is the case and we're not basically tired enough, I would like to. I don't know if we've got booze in the place. Has anyone stocked it? Because I'm even surprised there's anything in here. But
Yes, Cedric was brewing something.
Cedric, were you doing that here or were you doing that at your other place?
I feel like I got the
and
stuff. I feel like I got the stuff here.
You definitely got stuff in Andlang, but I can't remember whether you did anything with it.
I feel like I had to move it, and I think either I bought it here and I moved it there, or I bought it there and I moved it here.
I think you bought it there, but you took it to the Nebula Keep.
Maybe I'm
Into
just
the plane. I don't remember.
Maybe I'm not growing anything then.
I know you started doing something, but I think you did it in Nebula Keep rather than in this one.
Right.
Because that would have stopped fermenting if no one was keeping an eye on it. I mean, you guys probably have got some alcohol in your bags.
Does anyone feel like maybe sitting around the kitchen or meeting hall table and, I don't know, discussing plans before we get a rest and kick off those plans first thing in the morning?
Sure.
May as well.
While this goes on, am I able to try and create a nice home-cooked stew?
Sure.
Just need meat, veg, and a big cauldron.
Yeah, you have those. You have enough of those supplies. The meat's a little, it's not fresh meat, but
Nobody minds Duragar, do they?
Not that unfresh. It is, it is meat that has been treated to be stored over a long period of time. It's just not immediately fresh, but you are able to.
That's why I said more of a stew than.
Yeah, you're able to prepare a modest meal.
Boil it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mix and mash them, put them in a stew.
Yeah.
But a meal is provided. Yes, Leela.
My drones are still small.
They are still small.
Oh, can I spend a little bit of time trying to fix that or trying to figure out what happened? Or something?
Make an arcana check.
Try and biggen them.
Biggen.
Bigger.
I mean, natural 1, but that's a 16.
Okay.
That's okay.
From your previous observations of when this sort of wore off, it seemed to be a maybe 24-hour, roughly, time periods, or sort of seemed to wear off after a sustained period of time. So
when did they get small? In the
I think that's more when you were fighting the big fungus before.
And then we went to the.
Then you took a rest
We
in,
went to Ash's happy place.
and then they expanded there. But they drunk twice.
They had drunk twice, so they've only gone back up once.
Yes.
Okay, so
Over the course of a night's rest, they had recovered.
okay, so I kind of assume that they're okay. Well, they weren't in battle, so I don't need to repair them or anything.
No, they're just small.
Yes. Okay.
then yeah, I'll tinker with them for a little bit, and then whilst Ash is cooking stew, then I will have some stew.
Okay.
Stew.
I will probably. I stay with the group. I will drink, but I'll probably just be sat in the corner, most just quietly to myself, but also reading my book,
Mhm.
the Clear Thought book.
Okay.
So I can interject when I want to, but also not pay attention when I want to.
Who
Yes.
has the prism with the bad guy in it?
Cedric or
I
Asher.
think it's me still.
I think it's you.
I'm fairly sure you were holding it when she blew up, as it were.
Do you still want to keep a hold of it, or do you want me to put it back in the bag with the other ones?
Would there be a problem with storing it there?
What with the other ones?
Yes, or just in sometimes when we put things in the bag and it goes somewhere else, bad things happen. Like it doesn't actually go there, or some other thing happens. Probably won't happen, but I just thought I'd mention it.
If you've got somewhere to keep it safe,
I tell you what, yes, put it in the bag. We can keep it in there.
Can I have a look at it as we're doing so?
Okay.
Does it still look like there is something encased within it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Why?
Because when we tried to take a soldier originally from a visionary, we tried to take it with us, and all of a sudden it vanished, and back where it started.
Yeah, but that's because it wasn't in a prison.
Yeah, I just wanted to
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, he's making sure.
That was also my
I
concern.
know
about
how
the
his
team.
mind works.
Yeah, that'd be really shitty. It's like, yeah, make these prisons capture it. Oh, it's escaped again.
Yes, but also Luke.
I mean, there is one that almost failed, and that definitely would have happened. But luckily, you succeeded on all of them. So,
Should I put it back in my bag with the rest of them?
you pop it back in the bag.
How many of them are there?
8.
I suppose the next question is where do we go next?
I have actually put them as magical items on there.
Have you?
Yeah,
Oh, they're just
cool.
in my
Called soul prisms.
They're just in my notes.
No, that's fine, and whatever you want.
Zuggtmoy. I just found that.
Zuggtmoy. I've had to type it out so many times over the last 4 weeks.
Got it.
I think
Thanks to autocorrect, you now have a soul gem containing zucchini in your bag.
Kavina?
yeah, so with where we're going next, I think the important thing is to get the ship back, because someone's taking it. It's probably one of the
What? The
henchmen.
ship's gone?
Oh, yeah, you were yeah, weird back then. Yeah, when we went back to find the ship, it had disappeared.
Oh. Do you know where it is?
Do we
No.
have any findings?
Can anyone scry it now, or should we not bother?
Cedric, make a wisdom check. Your passive perception being what it is, you hear this comment.
I thought you were going to say his passive perception what it is. He can just see, like, sense where it is.
Yeah, it's there. It's just like, I can see it across worlds.
19.
Okay. You know from your experience in casting the spell and your learning of this that you cannot scry on an object. You can scry on a location or an individual, but you cannot scry on a specific object.
Okay. I don't think scrying will work unless we know exactly who's taken the ship.
Okay.
Or did anyone leave anything on the deck of the ship?
There's the crab.
Also an object.
That's an object.
Good point.
Did we leave any
Just
people in the
Yeah,
ship?
that's more what I mean. Sorry. Yeah.
Wow, is this an occasion when it would actually be in our interest to have a pet?
You could scry on the little tadpole that's inevitably still running around the ship.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Oh,
thinking.
God, yeah. That's so going to come back as like the final big bad evil guy. We win. We're all relaxing on the beach with, drinks and just...
And then
wonder if
Asher becomes an elephant and eats you all.
God.
It's a long shot, but Heron might have sent a peacock to mess up the rooms again.
I would have had to have met this peacock before.
Not necessarily. You could have imagined. I mean, the problem is you just imagine a peacock.
A peacock, and then it could be a peacock anywhere. Is the problem?
Yeah.
That's why I need to know this particular peacock.
Cedric,
But the only time we've seen peacocks is when that's been going on.
On Olympus.
As far as we know, they are the only peacocks in existence.
Just
Ooh,
the scry
also-
peacock and it just starts staring back at you as though it can see you and you're like, the fuck? Like,
Also, just realised Cedric's seen it, so that means he could wild shape into a peacock if he wanted to.
Not a druid anymore.
I'm not a druid anymore.
Okay. Damn it.
Cedric, I know some clerics have the ability to ask questions of their deity. Is that something you could do?
Yes, this is something I can do. Maybe now. Maybe tomorrow.
I mean, logically speaking, if we think that someone's stolen it, it's likely those demony things that Zuggtmoy sent out, they might have commandeered it. However, I don't know if they actually look like they could drive a blimp. Or they would have the intelligence to.
As we say, you don't necessarily look like you could drive a blimp, but
And yet. I drive.
Cedric, if you do that, is there anything special about the questions? Maybe we ought to come up with some questions in advance.
It would be good to be specific about what we want. Does anyone have?
Where's the blimp? Which visionary should we attack next?
Are you speaking of the commune spell that you're thinking of?
It's what I'm thinking
Yes.
of.
I believe
yes.
the commune spell does. Is it not yes, no
It is,
answers?
which is why it needs to be specific.
Yeah. But
Can I- if particular kinds of creatures have stolen the ship, we could ask if it's on this plane of existence.
Yeah, we could just narrow down.
Hang on, sorry. Does the spell? What's the limitation of the spell?
You
Yes.
get to ask 3 questions, but they can only be answered with yes or no.
Do you
Or
know the
unsure.
divination
Or unsure.
spell?
Yes, but the divination gives more vague answers, doesn't it?
It's a truthful reply. Well, you ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days.
Yeah, it's like it gives you an indication of whether your thing will go well or not.
Oh, okay, because I was able to use it like last time to basically where will Asher be in the next 5 minutes, and you know.
Yeah, but that's an event that's due to happen. If you're asking a question on where something currently is, that doesn't.
But you just get around it by saying where will it be in 1 minute's time. You know.
You can certainly try that.
Yeah, I know it's got a chance of failing, but you don't have to go yes or no with it, because what would be great is the good question to ask would be what's how far away and in what direction is it from the village closest to it.
Yes.
you basically just want to get something like Nexus 4 kilometers west, and it's like perfect. You can pull that off. So
A specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. That is not a specific goal, event, or activity. That's just where is it?
we could ask where would the ship next be.
Would we ever find the
used
ship?
or go to?
We'll find the ship in the next 1 day. And what you do.
Try again later.
Where will
Yeah.
the ship next be seen?
So I can see 2 possibilities. Either this was stolen by fiends, by demons, or it was taken by something that came out of the sea, possibly.
How high up did we park it?
Pretty
Not
hard.
very.
Very apparently, even though I'm sure we did.
No, we didn't, because we had no way of kind of.
I did. I had the carpet.
Yeah, but you didn't do it, so.
I thought I did.
No.
Didn't we go at least cloud level?
Could
Nope.
it have
In
developed a
fact,
mind
we
of its
specifically went
own?
low.
Hold on, we had 2 questions coming in. We had 2 conversations going on at the same time. The answer, I think, to Kafina's question was you kept it at sea level because you couldn't get back down again because you didn't use the carpet. And Fallon, what were you saying?
It did seem to be almost alive. Could it have developed a mind of its own and just gone off?
It's never done that before, and I don't believe there's anything actually alive in it. I think
Sentience.
unless there was something on the ship that we may have lost previously that is alive and hiding from us. However, I do not believe
Peacock.
that peacock is smart enough to drive that blimp. I want to be its friend.
You made it easier for it to succeed on an
That's
intelligence.
Captain Peacock to you.
And first baked crab.
Hey, look at me.
I'm the peacock now.
The only other option is, I don't know if this would work. We go back to the temple with the big scrying glass. These guys are going to hate us after a while, and see if I can just scry on
The
many
object.
people. I don't think the scrying glass of that says could actually scry on objects or whatnot. However, it can easily scry on many people at one time.
How do we get back to that temple?
We used the blimp.
An I did.
Oh, wait a minute.
I mean, I kind of wanted to wait for the penny to drop on that one, but I was like, no, I can't avoid it.
There's ways we can do it, maybe. There's always a way. I could fly my carpet, it just might take a really long time. But it's a way.
I say, from memory, it's how many days into the desert from the nearest place?
It's a couple of days from the nearest civilization.
Yeah.
And it depends on whether you go to the from where you are currently, it's quite a while. Although actually, that said, this is the city that does connect to it. If you just follow the tunnel long enough, it doesn't come up into that hole that's on the bottom, which is where the beholder got it.
Wow.
Assuming they haven't filled it in.
I fabricate.
I
And bombs. I'll make sure they don't close it again.
I'm in danger. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, when I sat down, I definitely had a bottle of booze and my grimoire, so I'm flicking through for spells, but I definitely don't have anything in here.
Okay.
Is anyone able to contact literally anyone at Channel Point to let them know that Zuggtmoy had actually intended to send at least something or someone down there to disrupt it? Kind of feel like it's quite important to let them know that, well...
Could have done until I tried to remove curse. Wait. wait. I will use a channel divinity to gain a 1 expended spell slot of up to...
Hey. Can you do that twice in the day? Or is it as many times as you have a channel ability?
That word.
Okay.
That's words.
Those were many words.
That sentence.
That's fine. I wasn't sure whether that was a once per day you can use a channel divinity to do that. But that's cool. That means you can do it 4 times in a day. That's kind of fun.
Juicy. Yes, I can do some sending, but I need to know who and what to send.
Unfortunately, your target was probably best suited to Chieftain Ranveig. As much as we have upset her, and I would word it along the lines of to have caution and to keep at least a small force ready as something could be heading over from Abelos.
We also need to start with the word mushroom. Just because it'll confuse the fuck out of it.
No, you've messaged her enough times now that she you saying mushroom. Even though that was never the code word you set up for her.
I know. But it was the one code word that I eventually remembered.
Eventually.
I will do that then. Sorry, who am I sending this to?
Chieftain Ranveig.
I will do that then. I will contact Chieftain Ranveig and I will say, Mushroom, hi, this is Cedric. I always try to count syllables instead of words.
No, it's a hard habit not to just suddenly start counting the syllable.
Just to give you a heads up, something might be coming from Abelos. Have caution. Okay, bye.
And that was 25 words.
A voice comes back and says, "Understood, Cedric. We're at Channel Point now. We're preparing to march on some of the cities. Not sure which to hit first. Suggestions?"
They want suggestions on where to hit first.
I would suggest South Peak. It's directly south from there, and it is still a remnants of a city that could have supplies for the refugees. I would avoid Neymar at all costs, with there being 2 visionaries.
Avoid Neymar. I need to write these things down.
Thing is, from where they are, you can go south to Channel Point. We just eliminated Abelos. the only other available thing to them is Maymar and Guy's Desire. And Guy's Desire is literally a shit keep for bringing an army through.
Abelos could be a staging post to get to Solrisa, Nexus, or South Point, quite apart from Neymar. And there's no visionary there. I wonder if Abelos might be better.
But
Yep.
they need a staging point.
They've got Channel Point as a staging point already.
The thing is, if they're fighting as they get off as they disembark, that's much more difficult.
Well, no, because we already have fighters and refugees at Channel Point already, so they wouldn't be fighting as they got off.
No, I mean, if they went to South Point, they'd be fighting as they disembark from the ships. Ships would go there and they'd be immediately fighting.
I would assume they'd go there by land.
Yeah.
So where are you suggesting they land then?
Well, they would land at Channel Point.
There's the channel where all refugees are is the Channel Point that is on Caradon, which is the main continent on the other side of the channel. And then there's the Channel Point which is on the Fiaros side. Is it Caradon or is it Hellas Gracia? It's Hellas Gracia. But it's on the main. There's a mainland, and then there is the extra continent that Fiaros is set on.
How far is Channel Point from South Peak?
Well, I'm trying to find the map for you.
By foot, probably like 5 days.
A little while on foot. Mind you, bear in mind, these are Vikings. They are accustomed to fighting from the ship, and they are targeting the Earth people. Earth people. We are let me show you.
Or we just full send it and send absolutely everyone into Maymar.
There is the map. The Channel Point where everyone else is landing is sort of over here somewhere. South Peak down on the bottom here. South Peak is probably the longest journey to travel. That's maybe a week solid march, and is quite interceptable from Maymor if they see you coming. You've got the Great Expanse here, Abelos, Sorita, Nexus, the Grove, Guy's Desire, and Tasto Falls.
We could ask them to head for Maymor, and if it takes a while, we could take out some more visionaries while they're marching, and then we could meet them there.
I'm not a strategist.
Who's in Maymar at the moment?
The Void, the Dragon, and the other one. I can't remember. And Gayon.
Oh shit!
Literally the worst place imaginable.
Oh.
Yeah.
And therefore the place where it would be most useful to have an army on our side.
We could go for Maymar now. We regroup with the army, we bring it in, and we make the biggest, loudest statement we possibly could ever make.
How long would it take them to get from Channel Point on this side to Maymar? Looks like it'd be a few days, maybe.
Must be me. Channel Point on this side to Maymor, it would take them about a day to travel by ship to Channel Point on this side to get everyone across there based on the size of the army that we have. And then as the crow flies going across this way, it would probably take them maybe 4 days, assuming they skirt around the Great Expanse by road, and stopping through Trove over here, or Triome, I should say. That would probably be, it's going to be about 10 days.
So there goes the crow flies.
Week to 10 days.
Speaking of, what size is the army?
Sizable.
Do we know the exact size? Because how many people could we fit on the ship? I remember when we were moving the refugees, we managed to fit quite a few.
I think it was 500 we could fit on the ship.
Yeah, okay. So not ideal then, because I'm guessing the army's bigger than that.
And we don't have the ship.
No, but that's something we want to sort first tomorrow, right?
It depends. We can live without the ship.
I'm more concerned about who's going to die because someone else has the ship. It's a weapon. We left it out and someone's taken it, and I don't want it out there killing people.
I see your point, but we are also
On a bit of a schedule.
against the clock. We don't want us to waste time trying to track down.
True, but
And
without the ship, I'm going to use all my magic every day moving us around, and it's going to be limiting. I mean, we say we're on a time crunch. That was our way to get around it. If we're stuck trying to travel by regular means, everything's going to take longer.
Fair point.
As much, and the crab is actually quite a useful weapon when needed. If we got a big bad guy, and I have started like working on making it better and more accurate. But I think everything we have becomes useful, especially if we don't have to go underground. We could just use the blimp to attack things. So if we see it as a helpful thing, then yes.
I mean,
Fine.
you know,
So our plan is to try and get the blimp. But in the meantime, where do we want to tell the army to head to?
I would vote Maymar.
And meet them there in 4 days.
In 4 days, we will go at it with quite literally every armed person we have, rather than risk losing fighters in smaller battles.
I think that's a reasonable strategy. We're going to have to face the big threat in Maymar sooner or later.
Don't forget that I also have, and I pull out this nice encrusted orb from our battle. We have 10,000 we can call upon at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
We could I would say we could take Maymar if we wanted to, with both the Yorvikian army and the Encrusted One's army.
So we tell them to head for Maymar, and we will rendezvous with them there in about 4 days.
Yes, at first light on the 5th day, look to my coming. At dawn, look to the east.
We will almost.
The sun's over there!
Neymar was the place where there were Githyanki riding dragons, right?
There was some sort of resistance there, whether it's still going on.
No, that's part of the attacking.
Yes, but there were. Yeah, I'm just saying there were people fighting back.
So the devils were rising up from the ground up, and they were attacking sort of the farming communities and going upwards, whereas there were the astral plane was attacking from above, where the main capital city is. The city Maymar itself, and what you have seen and read about it, is a extinct volcano that effectively has 2 tiers. One which has the sort of peasantry and the farming community contained within it, and then the upper echelon of the main city above it, as well as a interior which is full of miners and various other workmen that do all sorts of things. That is what's being called out by the devils. And there are arcane barriers across the sky that do protect from these upper barriers, as it was a former storm giant stronghold that was eventually taken by humans after the last storm giant died of old age. It's not a cloud giant, I can't remember which one, but it's 80.
So technically, if some resemblance of it still stands and we liberate it, there are places where it's somewhat defendable.
It's also where all the other armies are aiming to converge.
Yes. So we could branch out from it.
Have we been there before?
Nope.
No.
What's the closest we've been?
Channel
Nexus?
Point.
You probably walked
The Grove
past it at one point. I think you went around it.
Yeah, the road between it and the Grove, I think we travelled down back when we first
Well,
met.
Early on, you walked along the path to the Grove, and Nexus is probably the closest to it.
Yeah. Just not that I'm saying it's definitely going to be used, but while I was looking for a spell to find the ship, I actually have a sensory spell that lets me look or hear up to a mile away. I have no idea I had this. If anyone can find a use for it, just ask.
It's good to know. Shall I send the message then?
Maymar it is.
I guess I'm getting a general consensus vibe from everyone, so I will do the same thing, regain a slot, feeling a little bit like Kafina at the moment. Spend some cleric points to... and then I will send a message. I've written this down to make sure I can squeeze one in. Mushroom, go to Maymar. It is dangerous. Wait for us. Should take you 4 days. We will meet you there to take city together. Bye.
The response comes back and says, "We will discuss with the War Council. We may send supplementary forces to take out the Nexus. Don't want to be surprised."
I will relay that information to everyone. We may not get as big of a force as we're expecting.
Why?
They're splitting some of the resources to make sure that they don't have a surprise from Nexus.
So maybe if we sorted Nexus before then, they wouldn't have to do that? I don't know. If we can't figure out where the ship is, did we have any other idea where we were going to go next? Because we've got 4 days now. I don't think we're going to sit on our hands for 4 days.
Fee has a point. We could just go and deal with Nexus.
Do we have a way of getting around?
Yeah, we've got a Kafina.
Because I thought these 4 days were so that we could try find the ship.
Well, it may become impossible if we don't end up finding a way to find it. Searching around aimlessly seems like a bad idea. I don't know, that's just my opinion.
Yes, unless we have a very good lead to guide us, we should focus on taking out more visionaries. So the question is where we can get to.
Okay. Then we may as well help. Although I can't send any more messages.
That's fine. That they can deal with the fact that they can ready a force, they can chat to whoever they need to. And if we can deal with Nexus, not tomorrow, but the day after. This was just one of the ones that we had problems with due to water scenarios.
That's something I'd like to discuss. So this is a place we already did before, but something I noticed with that last fight. Asher, I swear I've seen you counter a spell before. Were you just not able to do it then, or... I feel like we have more people who can counter spells. Was there just not the ability to at the time? Because I was outside the room when she phased out into the ethereal.
Oh, honey. I can't cast any spells at the moment. It's very problematic for me.
Okay. Cool.
Have it. Can't at the moment use it.
Hang on.
Don't worry too much. I hear it happens to all magic users at some point.
1 out of 5, I've been told.
Accurate. Hang on. So, would you be able to use something like this? And I've still got the Ring of Spell Storing with a level 5 slot stuck in it. So, this stores magic. I don't know if you want to try pulling out and see if that can.
The ring of spell storing means you cast a spell into it, rather than it contains a spell slot.
Is it? Then I have going to pretend I didn't say that because I won't remember what kind of spell. I just thought it took slots, not spells. My bad.
No, that you're thinking of the Pearl of Power that provides you with a spell slot.
Yes. Damn it.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, the Raven Queen pissed off Odin, and Odin, unable to actually physically harm Cedric or the Raven Queen, has taken it out on me. So I can't actually do anything about that at the moment. But I'm feeling a bond with every time I do something almost deemed worthy. I get a little bit back, but I'm a long way away from being able to do cool shit.
Okay, well, that's good at least. I mean, that's moving in the right direction.
Well,
sorry.
I mean, the great things for you guys is the visionaries don't know that, so they still treat me as a huge threat, and it allows Lyra and Foundling to actually lay in some awesome damage while I get perpetually punched in the face by everything.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it works. The reason I brought this up is because we were so close. Like, I mean, I remember hearing Lyra screaming out that she's buggered off, and just freaked me the fuck out.
Absolutely. I was beside myself.
Right.
But, yeah.
So, do we have, and does anyone else have any other means for stopping stuff like that, or anything?
I think it's just
Punch
you.
them a lot before they cast it.
Yeah. I'm just worried because obviously we don't want them getting away. We don't know if any of the other ones are going to be nice. But God, that Void Dragon. This is definitely something I was worried about with him, and we experienced with someone that wasn't even him. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about ideas. I guess I might try and keep myself closer to the front from now on to try and preempt terrible things like that.
That's fine. Just remember to protect yourself at all times, Certain distance away, you're in the splash zone.
Yeah. Honestly, that last fight pointed out that the splash zone may be everywhere.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I was around a corner and I got spores blasted in my face.
Yep. Every time Leela popped one of those things, it always happened to be over my head.
If anyone can take it, you can.
Absolutely. I'm not moaning. I'm just pointing it out. Like, it doesn't matter where you stand, you're going to get hit.
This conversation out of context.
Okay, go away.
Grow up, Ross.
It was 2 minutes of people just saying just like, yes, just splashing all over my face. Yeah. Just like, I was around the corner and there it was just splashing me.
Jesus,
Just
Ross.
30 feet away.
This is basically that chicken parmigiana moment with Joey from Friends.
Oh, too good.
Yeah.
So next is if we can't find the blimp and got some battle strategy there. Does anyone have any ideas for finding the blimp?
No.
Hey, Connor, I think there's no visual on the stream, by the way.
Now, why would that be?
So this conversation literally could be taken out of context.
Oh boy.
No, because we've got amazing fans who have seen all our videos and understand all of the context.
What have we got a mind like mine?
We apologise for any technical difficulties. I've no idea if you can still hear us.
I mean, in all fairness, yeah, they can still hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay then.
In all fairness, it's a role-playing session, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Can anyone pull out a trumpet and start doing that?
Hey, we're back.
Hey.
Yeah, we lost him.
I mean, Tom can maybe. He's in his music room.
Anyway. So yeah.
If nobody has any ideas for finding the blimp, it looks like we're going to Nexus.
The only thing was, if we're assuming that it was the things that we saw come out of the cave that took it, where were they headed? That's the only kind of lead of that one.
Or asking a god.
Or asking a god, or go to temple to scry. That's all I got.
Sorry, quick question. Didn't someone in the party, I'm speaking out of character here, didn't someone in the party overhear that her saying go deploy or something like that? Did they hear information?
Fanling did. Fanling heard them say...
oh, and he was mentally ill at the time, so...
they were hallucinating. They weren't necessarily viewing... they weren't necessarily... It wasn't auditory hallucination, it was visual.
That's good.
What Foundling heard was she was giving orders for deployments. The swarm of Kazne and Battling Balgura, the Marilith captains, are to report to General Ushulrek that chaos scatter the forces of the pathetic mortals.
Yeah, so Foundling would pass that on. They remember. But that's not exactly... They're going to be there here at this time.
Cedric, do you need to have met the person to scry them?
That's a great question. I think so. Or have something that's theirs, like hair or...
I mean, we just...
You can...
Oh, have you heard?
brief
It's
description.
difficulty. Yes.
Yeah.
It would be harder, but I can do it.
I mean, we could try it. I mean, like Leela says, it's most likely to be people from the place that we just fought out.
Could see them. We might be able to get a sense of where they are and which direction the blimp is going. So we try that in the morning. If that doesn't succeed, we go to Nexus. If it does succeed, we can go and intercept the blimp.
Sounds good.
It sounds like a plan.
Watch us not stick to it.
Okay. So you spend the remainder of your afternoon
Eating stew.
eating stew, relaxing, sort of tending to your various wounds, and you all head to bed for an evening of rest. So you can hit the long rest button.
Yeah.
Hey.
Never be sure. We've been killed in our sleep before.
You lowered maximum HPs and proficiency bonuses.
Those of you that have had your hit points reduced and have cured the poison that came as a result of it, your hit points are restored.
What about the
Includes you two, yes.
proficiency bonus?
Proficiency bonus increases by 1. With reach long rest, it increases by 1.
Well, I don't know about anyone else, but although I feel the rest has restored some of my abilities, I still don't feel as if I'm quite functioning at peak efficiency.
Also pass me my phone, actually, because I need to.
Yes, that's. I feel the same.
Shall we try teleporting somewhere where we can get some clerics to sort us before we... Or should we do the ship search first?
Do I know I'm capable?
Ship search first.
Sorry, that was not meant to go to everyone. Ignore that.
Plot twist. We're all poisoned.
Ah, where am I?
No.
Sorry.
I mean, you might as well just say it out loud now. Yes.
Indeed, I'm not poisoned.
Oh, unless it's one person.
FYI, I'm not actually looking at it.
I could click it. I could click it, but I'm not going to. I could show everyone.
No.
I don't know.
As you sort of come out of the room, or come out of your various rooms, you see that Kalatar, Lyra, and Leela are looking uncomfortable. They're looking a little worse for wear, despite having had their rest. And in fact, actually, Cedric is starting to turn a little greener than usual, looking a little weaker.
Yes.
Is it because we're still covered in mushrooms?
No, I assumed you had a bath.
I mean, I wasn't covered in mushrooms.
Yes.
Truthfully wasn't.
Right, well, that's what I mean. Like, is it because we're covered in mushrooms? No, because not everyone was. So.
And you three feeling all right?
4.
4.
A little bit as well.
It's hard to tell with Cedric. Yeah.
I mean,
Always green, so.
I think I feel fine. Why do I look funny?
Yeah, you guys look kind of rough. Did you not sleep well? I mean, I get it, but you okay? Do you feel okay to go today?
I feel rested, but something sitting in here just doesn't feel right.
Okay, well, anyway, Foundling voted for find ship first. Are we all on the same page with that? And then look for some healing?
I think that works.
All right.
I'm just sorting my spells up for the day.
Okay.
Oh, we find the ship.
Well, in which case, as it is just going to about be 10 to 9, we can use this to take a break so that we can
shout.
pick the spells and prepare for the day. So we can come back at 5 past and go from there. So we'll take a break and we'll be back in 15 minutes. See you then.
Woo!
And we are back. Fair enough, Tom. So, as you have come back to your consciousness and are choosing spells and such other things.
I definitely chose the spells during my break.
Yeah, you definitely did, yeah.
Definitely picked all of them.
Yeah.
Cedric, Leela, Kalatar, and Lyra are all feeling somewhat worse for wear, somewhat lethargic and run down somewhat. And for you, Lyra, this has only sort of come on in the last hour or so. And Cedric, it's only just starting to hit you.
Probably stress. We should actually take a holiday and let someone else do this whole world end crap.
I do find it weird that no one else seems to be bothered.
Hold on, yeah. Two people speaking at the same time. I did not hear either. Tom, what?
I said it seems like not many people care, so maybe we should just let the world end.
Lyra, this is where we find out Lyra has become a nihilist. What were you saying, Jared?
I basically said the exact same thing as Lyra as she said it, because I thought she said the first sentence and I was about to, yeah.
Fair enough. So, what are you guys doing?
Trying to find the blimp.
Yeah.
Saving the world, even though no one wants us to.
Do we recognise this condition in ourselves?
Make a medicine check.
Unnatural 20.
You felt similar inflictions upon yourself, but you're not quite sure what this source has come from. You felt similar poisons affect your body and affect your mind.
I know it's not going to work, but I will try casting Remove Poison, or no, Less Restoration.
Okay, you cast Lesser Restoration upon yourself. The poison is cured. As you do so, the divine energy that passes through your system just pushes out what appears to be small spores that seem to leave the bloodstream, exuding like a vapor.
Who else needs a boost?
I can probably do myself if you
Yeah,
want to do this.
I can do.
Go.
Me too.
Kelatar, do you want one?
Yes, please.
Depending on where we're going, maybe this is an issue we could sort with money instead of our own energy, and then
Bam! Too late. Cure myself.
Yeah.
I don't often use my second level slots.
Yeah.
I
One.
tend to have slots there.
One energy, so.
Same.
So yes, I will cast Less Restoration on Kelatar as well.
Okay, you are now
Excellent.
poisoned.
Lovely. So, how do we find this blimp?
So I could use Commune if we want to ask some general but also specific questions.
Seems like a bit of a contradiction.
Well, they have to be yes or no. They have to be specific enough for that. But we could ask more general questions like, is the blimp in enemy hands? Could
Right,
we
right.
teleport to the blimp?
I understand.
how many questions can you ask?
3. I think, yes.
So maybe we brainstorm this before we use them.
I like
Bear in mind, it is a ritual spell, so you can cast it multiple times. It just has a chance of failure.
There's a 25% chance of, after each casting, that I don't get an answer.
Casting time?
10 minutes. 1 minute.
1 minute, but it's
Wow,
10 minutes to
10
ritual.
minutes for a ritual.
Is it worth not going to the one place that we think it might be? And if it's not there, then thinking about asking where it is? Because there's no point wasting magic if we've got at least one idea of where it might be.
Well, I was thinking it's a ritual, so it doesn't expend the spell slot. If it's cast as a ritual, it doesn't expend the spell slot.
Basically, I can cast it as many times as I like, but the more times I cast it, the more likely it's going to fail.
Okay.
I like the is it in enemy hands? I'd also suggest, is it on this plane of existence?
Sure.
Well, if you're going down that route, is it somewhere over this island?
Okay.
Maybe.
And you
It doesn't help as much if it's in this plane of existence, but on the opposite side of the world. Unless we could get there magically.
I will point out that you are aware that the effect that these visionaries coming through into the material plane has effectively dragged their planes with them. So they are considered simultaneously to be a different plane of existence and the one that you're currently on, and the material.
So
This is information that you have been told previously, which is why I'm okay sharing it with you, rather than
watching us fail.
Yeah.
So rather than
Like that.
So rather than asking by plane, we're better off asking by, like you said, is it over an island? Because that would count even those planes that are pouring into.
We could ask how, whether it's a certain distance away. Is it 5 days travel from here? Is it 50 days travel from here?
Because I did think asking about enemy hands would be good, but honestly, we're better off just trying to get the location. I don't know if enemy hands helps as much.
I mean,
Maybe
if
we
it's not in enemy hands, then maybe there's less urgency to find it.
And maybe if we're going to ask for distances, it would be better to ask for distances from a location on the surface.
The scary part is they can take it anywhere they've been, right? They have to have been there. Can the blimp go places it hasn't been? I can't remember.
The driver has to have been in that place. So the blimp can go anywhere, but you have to have been there.
So we don't have to worry about them going to Olympus probably.
Not unless they've been there.
Or at least one person has.
Mm.
Any of the 3 drivers has been to that location. They can take it. No, I know. It's just clarifying. Oh, Tom's gone.
No.
So, are you casting the spell? Are
I
you?
think we're still pondering the third question. I think it's the third question which we're...
Well, what have we decided for 1 and 2?
So, 1 being, is it in enemy hands? 2 being... Oh no, we were going to do it on this plane, but that doesn't really work. 2 being... we can just pick a time scale.
Could I also ask him if it's worth it?
I think we're getting more of an opinion there, but...
Who better to ask than the gods? And Luke.
Yes, the gods.
The omniscient god.
The god of the gods.
Don't inflate his ego in that much.
I mean, in his own little world.
Yeah.
Just bring him back down a bit more. But he is still a god in that world.
Infinite power. Infinite space. What's the other way around? No, that is normally it is, but in this instance, I have very little power, but a top potential living space.
I mean, we don't even have to do this. I just thought I'd throw it out there as an option.
It's literally the only option we have.
It's also technically free.
And I do like free things.
Is it in enemy hands? Do we want to start taking guesses at where it may be? Do we want to guess at who maybe has it?
And Leela thought she knew where it might be heading.
Where do we suspect it might be?
Wherever those demons were going.
They didn't
Where-
say.
We had a theory, didn't we, that they would go towards the closest army, or they would go to the closest battle ground. Because where did we think they were going? Who have we just warned that there's an incoming?
Channel point.
Right, so we thought they were going there.
So I could ask, is it heading to Channel Point?
If anything, it was very well. Yeah,
Or
that's the only theory we've got for that one.
You see, if it's already there and you ask that question,
Yes, that is a tricky one.
then you'll get the answer no, and we won't know. So how about something like, is it within 10 miles of Channel Point?
I could, yeah.
With how far it travels, though, that might still be as bad. What if we ask something a little more open? Like, is it because if we've got 2 more questions after enemy hands, why don't we use it to do narrow down? So we go, is it traveling to a place on said continent or above said continent? Because that'll help us make sure it counts the planes as well. And then we can use the final question to guess a distance to a location or a time frame that it might go past or near a location
can
or
only do
towards a location.
One continent, so we'd have to guess the continent.
I mean, if we get no for it being near or above a continent, then we can just try and ask for a different continent, and then at least we've narrowed it down that much. I don't know.
Constant is Carol.
I'm looking to everyone else to be sure of the questions we want to ask.
Well,
I could ask more potentially.
I mean, you don't have to ask them all at once, right? Do you?
It's part of the same ritual, so
Yeah, within-
So it's 3 per ritual, is it?
yes.
Do you ask all 3 and then get the answers, or do you ask one, then get an answer, and then ask the
I
next?
think that's up to the DM's discretion.
you can cast a spell for.
In a case where a one-word answer could be misleading contrary to the deity's interest, the GM may offer a short phrase.
I may.
So we may it. If the Raven Queen sees this as being favourable, we may receive a smaller portion of information.
There is also the possibility that at least you know that if you tried it multiple times, it's a no answer at all rather than a
Yes.
full answer, which helps.
Is it in enemy hands? Is it above a continent or a specific continent?
Or Fieros, which is not a continent.
We want to pick where most of the attacks are going because we assume they're joining up with someone else.
Just is it
Which-
near Pharos, above Pharos, around Pharos?
Is it somewhere over Fieros, maybe?
You could ask if it will be in like the next day or so, because then it'll take into account if it still hasn't reached it yet.
Has it or will it be?
Well, no, has it will give us a yes because we've been over the Thearos with the blimp before. We can't say has it.
Has it, or will it be over there in a 24-hour period from before or after now?
DMs, take note of how to confuse your players with a riddle you have not actually given them.
This is the rest of the campaign. This is just like
Next
every
few
session
sessions.
from now in for the next year. It's every week we meet up and we discuss the potential questions we could ask.
Yeah, pro DM tip: if you haven't planned anything, just steal something they'll notice, and that's an entire session sorted.
Take away their shiny toys that they really rely on and when they need to move around places. Who else is progressing letting Gundermere go free?
That was so useful.
Never.
No, I know. He deserved it, bless him.
Mm.
Old Gundy.
What, being set free or having his arm cut off?
So, the first part.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels like we set him free at like the worst time possible. It's like because
I don't know. Even if the world ends, he gets some freedom before.
Yeah.
Like,
I could ask if it's it being intended to be used in a battle. Everyone, this is a group participation. If anyone wants to throw in something
Cast
to
the
get involved,
goddamn
I
spell!
don't know what I mean. I'm just saying there's many options.
we're
I'd just like some help narrowing it down.
we're agreed on.
I thought we agreed
it's
on
in enemy
3.
hands and trying to get an idea of the location.
Yes, but how do I ask about the location?
I can't wait for Luke to just say it fails.
It's here! It's here, guys, okay?
He's just gonna snap.
It's been above you this entire time, you just haven't looked up.
Is that the plan? We just wear it out.
I genuinely wondered, like, is this going to turn out the place we went to was also a moving island, like with Medusa, and it turns out it was just a couple more miles away.
It's actually still in exactly the same spot.
He would have seen the giant flying whale, and he would have told us about it.
Roll really bad perception check, guys.
I think, Cedric, you should cast it and ask the first question, which we've all agreed upon, and then once we get an answer from that, maybe we can cast it again at a later date. Please.
Reach.
We get 3 questions
Okay.
per casting. It makes sense to use them.
I'm casting the goddamn spell.
With the second question, you can ask the gods if they have anything that they would like.
What question would you recommend?
What question would you
yes.
ask another god? Hypothetically.
Have any of the questions that we have posited in this conversation been useful in any way whatsoever?
No.
I'm thinking shopping trip after this.
Your favourite?
Just to finally break Matt.
So, Cedric is casting Commune.
Yes, I am.
Okay. What is your first question as you enter your meditation? You focus your mind into a deep black scape that you sink into. A pool of blood appears before you and sits just there, reflecting your reflection upon it.
Raven Queen, I'm hoping you can help us. My first question is our blimp in enemy hands?
The image of yourself within the pool sort of emerges out, just rising up and nods solemnly.
Is the blimp intended to be used for battle?
The figure nods again.
Is the blimp within 100 miles of Channel Point?
The figure shakes its head.
Ooh. I mean, right now, I guess. So.
Yeah,
And the vision
can
fades.
close that
Go back to
distance very quickly.
Beep, beep.
So it is in enemy hands, and they are intending to use it in combat.
Actually, there is one caveat I probably should put onto there, because there are 2 channel points.
Ah.
There is the channel point that is on Fiaros and the one that is on Hellsgrave. So there would be uncertain, and as if you needed a little bit more specification of which one you mean.
It may or may not be Channel Point, near Channel Point.
Which channel point do you mean? You mean the one on Hellsgrave or the one on Fiaros?
One on Fieros?
Within 100 miles? The answer is yes.
Spicy! I flipped a coin and I picked the right one.
I realised I have this map. It doesn't have a sort of scale on it. It doesn't show what the distance is between points.
And that's what Luke was gambling on.
They're never going to need to know the exact distance between these locations. It's around 100 miles, at least at this point anyway.
What if for the next 3 you got yes for attacking? What if we just said, is it attacking somewhere in Thearos? Then if it's a yes, ask for 2 different places in Thearos until we get a yes. Because if we are, then we can just stake out that place.
I can do that.
Any other suggestions? Welcome.
Absolutely none. I'm exhausted.
I love how great you play your character, Connor. Just really awesome.
Well, we were aware there may be an attack directed at Chieftain Ranveg and the rest of the army,
Mm-hmm.
who would be in that general area. It could be that that's the mission the blimp is on, to assist in attacking the army. We could ask them to send us a message by magical means if they spot it. And in the meantime, we could proceed with our mission.
Don't mind that as an option. Give them a warning. Tell them to contact us if they see anything.
Because at the moment,
Especially
everyone
if
we
it's
know,
flying and covered in tentacles.
well, everyone we know at the moment treats that blimp as friendly
Yes.
and would willingly let it approach.
That's a very good point. We'd want them not to do that.
Shall I warn them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Also, if we have spell slots, we should send a message to the Grove as well.
I can use some spell slots to do this. So that is
I can as well.
Do you want to do one and I do the other?
Yeah, what's up?
Share the load.
Okay. I don't know who wants to send what, where, when, how, what. You got a preference?
Well, you've been conversing with Ranveg the last couple of times.
I can do Ranveg. Okay, I'll hit up Ranveg and say, mushroom and good morning. We had the blimp stolen from us. Please alert us if you see it. And be careful. Damn it. Oh, did so well not counting syllables in the last word I counted syllables. I think that was,
we heard you count the syllables as well. That was the...
I think that was, yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good morning, Cedric. We shall keep an eye out for your airship. We are currently sailing across Channel Points. We shall see you shortly. We hope.
They're currently sailing, so they will alert us and keep an eye out if they can. In fact, you just said that she'd only keep an eye out, not that she would alert me.
Who are you contacting?
That was a question I was about to ask. Who do we know that's still in the Grove?
In Gundermere.
Mm.
It's probably the only one that you know by name, really.
Yeah.
You haven't really spoken to many people in the Grove other than Gundermere.
Yeah.
Do you know where Nordak is?
Actually, yeah, Nordyke has moved across there. Yeah.
So Gundermere it is. Okay. I think. Hi Gundermere. Just so you know, our airship has been stolen. We're not using it. Let us know if you see it.
James wants to say. Okay, it's good to see you. We'll hear from you. I shall keep an eye out for it. I've got no way of contacting you, so.
So Gundermere will keep an eye out for the blimp. Small problem. Can't contact us.
Well, maybe
Well,
he can find someone who can.
That's not ideal, but at least they won't be able to be used for a sneak attack to take the Grove off guard.
So where are we headed?
I thought we'd decided to head for Nexus if we couldn't get the blimp back.
Well, you're heading there, or are you going to attempt another commune to try and get some more information?
Yeah, just to feel like punching Connor a little bit more. I think we're going to
Oh,
spend some
no,
time
absolutely,
thinking
I'm-
about questions.
Got all day. We're
Um,
not leaving here until you come up with 3 more questions now.
How do we get to Nexus?
Is that one of the questions?
Yes.
Ask her
I
if there's
can-
another Illithid ship.
Is your favourite colour black?
what is your favorite color?
Ask her if there's another Illithid ship that's just knocking about.
What is the carrying weight in that?
I believe the Swallow.
Swallow, that was it.
I can either get us there with a regular amount of magic by going to the teleportation circle if it's still functional. If not, then I have to use a pretty good amount to cast teleportation on us to take us anywhere we've been before.
So the teleportation circle there, is that a temple of Hecate?
Yes.
And we just don't know. Trick told us quite a bit about Nexus, but he didn't tell us that much.
There are likely to be guards at the teleportation circle, but there are probably likely to be patrols everywhere. So from that point of view, it doesn't make much difference. It might be better for Fee to save her magic and just go through the circle.
I think so.
We should just be prepared to be fighting as soon as we come through if it works.
Well, also, the circle should be underwater, I assume. I mean, the entire
That's
city is, so...
That's all.
Are you guys confusing Nexus with Solrisa? Because that's the second time I've heard someone say underwater shenanigans. Like, hang on,
Sorry, that's me. That's
Okay.
I'm doing that, sorry.
Where's the-
Soul Reaser is
which
still
one-
underwater.
Which one is it, Nexus? Do anyone remember?
It's Velamus, the Fey visionary,
Oh,
who of all of us, I think only I've met.
Yes.
It's where that awesome shopkeeper is.
Connor's favourite shopkeeper.
Yeah.
You go there, I will kill him.
but there we go. You said you wanted to go shopping after we were done asking questions. We could do that while we're there.
Shopping include disembowelment of a robot?
No, because robots don't have bowels.
I'm gonna go looking.
I'm interested to see what Velamus is like, because by all accounts he's still as he was when I knew him. According to what Trick says.
There we go then. We aim for the teleportation circle in Nexus, arrive prepared to fight, and then try to find this Velamus.
Okay.
I've got one. Who was that captain? Sorry, again. That I've been contacting.
Captain Peacock.
Ranvague.
Runvague, thank you.
Chieftain. Right.
Chieftain. That's
Yeah.
it. Chieftain. That's it.
Begins with C and ends with Tan.
Captain?
Okay. I'm going to try commune again.
Okay.
I need to roll something, don't I?
I roll this.
Oh.
So the DM rolls it secretly. Okay.
Just secretly message him in chat.
Very good for our viewers.
So, my first attack Well, it's my first attack. My first question. I read the word attack. So my first attack on you, Luke. No, the first question will be: will the blimp attack in the next 24 hours?
The blood image of Cedric rises up and shakes his head.
Will Ranveig's passage be safe?
There is a nod.
Just trying to do an in-life insight check then. Let's get closer.
Will will it be used to attack a channel point? The Fioros one, the other one. The one we care about.
The response comes back as unsure.
Okay.
Shape shrugs. You kind of get the sense that it depends what happens and how.
Yeah.
There's a whole host of factors that would
Yes.
depend on where it would act next.
That's good information in and of itself.
Primarily wherever we are not, I assume.
That was actually really good, Cedric, because we know we've got at least a day buffer before it attacks anywhere. And yeah, the unsureness means that hopefully yeah.
Yeah, the enemy is also sat around a table currently having the same discussion simultaneously.
They're also communing like, where will the wandering stars be?
Unknown. Will they attack in the next 24 hours?
Yeah, I've been rolling just d20s just to see whether or not they're doing this at the same time as you are, before or after you've made the decisions. So.
By the way, do we know where the Legion of Storms are at the minute?
No, you have no idea.
No, but if you want, I can ask several questions to try and narrow down their location.
I'm trying to remember what happened to them after we came back from the plane of Earth.
I think they're into Grove. I think that's where you went with them last. And I
We
think they
did
were
go
recovering.
there.
I think after you came back from the plane of Earth, I think you went to the Grove because your entrance into and out of the plane of Earth was via the passageway that connected to
Pariah Deep.
Pariah Deep. But I think you used plane shift when you left because you were taking the Legion with you, and I think you went with them to. No, you took the Legion to your keep. After that, and I think they travel on the ship with Ranveig.
Right.
I believe they are currently with Ranveig.
That's definitely some travelling party. Quite a powerful force, really, on a boat.
Yeah. I mean, not good enough to take out Zuggtmoy. So I think we've proved once for all we're better. But,
that was some serious shade. I mean, they're all right. Couldn't do the one job we gave them, but yeah, sure.
Bear in mind, they did have to go through all of Abelos to get there. They probably got worn down quite a bit before they got.
I agree with Lyra. We just have better contacts because we're better.
Yeah, if only they had some goo to talk to.
although we only found the goo contact because we killed a different visionary.
Yeah, that did happen.
So
yeah, you know, things roundabouts.
Potato, they're trash, we're better. It's fine, yeah, I agree with Lyra. Luke's leveling them up. Next time
I'm being attacked by a sea monster.
that just hits them.
Yeah, only them.
I think that'd only double down on Lyra's point. Sea monster comes through. Lyra's like, I would have dodged it. Cedric would have asked. He'd have seen it coming.
So sea monster comes up. Hurry that, you filthy casuals.
So, questions asked. Are there any other questions or preparations you are doing before you attempt to head off to wherever you're going to next? Are you going to attempt a third round of questioning? Or
No
are you
further
just
questions,
solid?
Your Honour.
this seems like a case
Sustained.
of diminishing.
It depends if you ask the right question or not.
Are we just literally going straight into the middle of Nexus? Is this the plan?
We're
feel like that
in
would be
the
unwise.
teleportation circle and being ready to fight.
We can go somewhere else. It's just it'll use up more and make it harder for me to escape us all later if it's needed, or say chase someone into the ethereal plane.
Well, if we're surprised, so will the people on the other end. So,
But are
sure.
you all feeling fighting fit?
One,
You're all looking a bit green. Not
I think-
5 minutes ago.
They dealt with that.
Yeah, no, I'm that's why I'm asking. Are you?
We're okay now, I think, yes.
Although you still have a level of exhaustion, Asher.
Yeah, I
got-
can live with that.
I've got -1 to my proficiency and stuff still, so.
Just means I'll be at disadvantage on everything I'm normally at disadvantage at, so it's fine.
Okay.
We're as good as we ever are, I think.
Sword and shield out.
Okay.
arms out, weapons ready.
If we're going swimming,
We're
We're not going swimming.
Yeah, sorry, that was my mistake. I'm
right?
sorry.
Someone
Fate.
mentioned it, and now I'm stuck.
I did
with it.
twice and I'm wrong. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
Who are we going to fight?
We're going to the Feywild in Nexus,
Right. Gotcha. Understood.
not the water plane that is
The
solid.
really dangerous one. Yeah.
Yeah. Going to the one that will fuck with you in different ways.
Yeah. It's fine. We can only get stuck here for 10 years. It's all good. Continue.
So, Kavini, you're casting teleportation circle.
Sorry, just before we go, which soul prism is it? Do we need?
That one is
Artemis's?
That's Artemis, yeah. No, actually, no. It's one of Order and Civilization. I think that's Athena, actually.
Isn't that the one we just used on Zuggtmoy?
Whichever one this is that is appropriate. I can't remember exactly which correlation of gods I described. For
We
each.
put our hand in the bag and we pull out the correct,
The correct one.
Yeah.
The one that correlates to the thing we're about to stab that isn't in the water plane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not the
Feywild is Artemis.
Feywild was Artemis. Okay.
The Abyss was Athena.
That's it. Yeah, because she's an Order domain and Artemis is a huntress. So councils nature-ish. Okay. So, Kafina, you start to draw out your teleportation circle. You sketch downs on the ground, and you're fairly confident you remember the runes correctly, and the spell fails.
Well, worth a try.
Pain.
To be honest, if they left it open, it probably would have been a terrible idea anyway. So
Your
really,
arcane understanding means that there's one or two reasons that this could happen. It's either been destroyed, or it's considered to be enough on a different plane of existence that it's causing trouble.
crap. Yeah, forgot that.
Plane shifters there?
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot my easy workaround for not doing teleport.
I
Cool.
also
Thank
have
you, Asher.
I also have plane shift as well.
Do you have something attuned to the Feywild?
Got you.
Actually, yeah, I do.
Law isn't technically attuned to the Feywild currently.
No? Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah.
No,
Oh,
but
yeah. Damn it.
She was
Mithralis?
untuned.
the two keys I have are for the material plane and the Feywilds, which are literally the two intersecting planes at that position. So if I hold both, we surely get somewhere.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, the gamble option. I swear, that's how
what's
splishing happens.
Yeah, what's the chances that we're just going to end up in chunks everywhere?
Okay, well,
Well, it's one way to end the campaign.
Left half ends up in one direction and right half ends up in another.
Well, technically, you'll still have the right amount of arms.
Yeah, there we go. I'll be fine. The rest of me will be screwed. I'll just need an extra leg from somewhere, and I'll be on the floor.
would we rather just do teleport then?
I mean, at this point, I'm ready and willing to try anything.
I mean, if it's taken the entire, we know it probably opened right around the center of Nexus, and we know roughly how big all of the planar areas got since we've last seen them. So we should be able to figure out a good position and use Feywild as an option. Or if we pick a position really far outside that we know it wouldn't have reached yet, and we use the material plane.
Go for going inside.
Doesn't plane shift require you to change from one plane to another?
Yeah.
You can't do it from the material plane to the material plane.
True, but the fun workaround for that is just creating a demi-plane, and then you can teleport out of there.
Or you were saying we could go. It may well class enough as the Feywild to get there from here.
It could potentially, but I'm not magically trained to say that. Other than try. What's the worst that can happen? That was more of a question.
Yes.
You don't want to know the actual answer.
I have no idea. What is the worst that can happen?
Torn to pieces.
Average Friday.
Hey.
I mean, sorry to be a mitigating pigeon, but that sounds like something you could maybe work out with an Arcana check.
I think Fee already found out about this from the wizard who runs our thingy, because I tried to use the spell and he warned me against it because I was about to explode myself.
Oh, he just told you it wouldn't work because there was
he didn't.
abjuration magic around that. Or the abjuration magic protects the keep.
You wouldn't have exploded. You just took a lot of damage.
Yeah. Okay. To shreds, you say?
I think the keep is 10d10 if you try.
Something like that.
It's a lot.
Right. So we want inside Nexus,
Sure.
near the center, outskirts-ish. Where are we looking?
Centre sounds bad. If I was an important person, I'd be near the centre. So maybe the outskirts.
I'd say somewhere we know. I'd say the shop.
Ooh,
Yes.
somewhere to stealth out from, maybe.
Yes.
And plus, I'm actually more keen for the center. I want to get the big guy out of the way first and then worry about the little ones. I don't want to have to fight through waves of minions.
God is holding his hand up.
I could interject here that with the plane shift spell, you will specify a target destination in general terms, such as the City of Brass on the elemental plane of fire or the Palace of Dissipate on the second level of 9 hells, and you appear in or near that location.
So about the best we can do is say the City of Nexus on the Feywild.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, we could describe the shop in the Feywild. We won't get in the shop most likely, but we'll probably be somewhere up to a kilometer away from it, I think.
Alternatively, if you know the sigil sequence of a teleportation circle on another plane of existence, this spell can take you to that circle.
Yeah, but if they've destroyed the circle, I'm a little worried the spell fails. Can I Arcana check?
We don't know.
You don't know, yeah.
It's only a decision you can make, Kafina.
Yeah, I don't think we want to depend on the circle. They may have just destroyed it to stop people sneaking in. So, yeah. Aim for the shop then. Hope we get lucky.
If our arrival location is somewhat unpredictable, we're less likely to get ambushed.
I mean, it's unpredictable anyway, so yeah.
Let's go!
All right, I'll start.
Levi Jenkins!
So, before you plane shift, what preparations are you doing for time? Did you say you had your arms out?
Arms out, weapons ready.
Arms out, weapons ready. Lyra?
Do we have to hold hands or anything for this?
Yes.
Right. So
Okay.
I guess not
all
shield
weapons
out
ready.
or sword in hand then.
Okay, not all weapons ready.
Just pair up with someone who doesn't hold a weapon, so you're holding the shield and they're just clasping your hand like that.
I mean, yeah. Can we do that?
I mean, family's got many arms, so...
Everyone can just grab Foundling's hand.
I fight hands free.
I mean, the sword isn't so much an issue. It's the
Shield. I mean, shield out if shield out is available.
Okay.
yeah.
Armor on, Shadowfang out.
Well,
Yeah.
thing
You say you just had Shatterfang out, Connor.
Shatterfang and armor on, yep.
Okay, as you draw Shatterfang, you notice a third rune has appeared. upon the
Everyone
body.
hold fire. I must now convene with the gods. I need to ask 3 specific questions.
Why? What?
And how?
what?
No, these are left messages on your answering machine. So
Yeah, if I just press it, what does the rune say?
It says,
Your call is important. Please hold.
yeah. It says that your PPE is PPI is expiring.
Have
I've
you
been
been
trying
involved
to
in
contact you about your car insurance.
Yeah.
Have you been involved in a slight incident that wasn't your fault?
Have you been involved in a Pegasus accident?
The translation this time on the runes you kind of get from it is seems to be something akin to devotion, reverence, or it's hard to sort of describe it in a single word, but it's more along the lines of the close to respect, sort of in a reverential sense. So you're transferring that, you're paying the respect due to an entity of some sort.
Asher nods, as if to understand this one word.
It translates so much better in your wiki.
Yeah, it's like Google Translate's not working.
Yeah. All right. So, as you concentrate and you ring the tuning fork, you find yourselves pulled through the plains and vanish from your spot in the Underdark, appearing upon a vaguely familiar street within the city of Nexus. However, in the familiarity is more about the shape. For everything that is around here, the colours that were once the sort of traditional grey and dark browns of wood and stone are replaced by violently luminescent greens, purples, blues. As if the streets themselves are covered in flowers and plants, as if the stone has been reclaimed, covered in moss. You look around, the sky above you is a shimmering sunset scape, as you see the eternal twilight of the Feywild has shifted across this area. You look to the walls and you see that some areas the trees have grown up and over, giving a staircase and opportunity for creatures to man the walls and to search them properly. And in others, they have been burst through by the pure force of the nature, particularly towards the southern side. In the center of the city, a giant tree stands, which you know to be the singular point that is the temple and the homestead of the visionary that only one of you has met. Within this area, you can see, looking around, that there are creatures that are moving through the sky, even small ones. With your past perception, Cedric, you are able to depict them quite readily. Things like pixies and sprites that are dancing through. You even detect a flash of something going past at a great liquid speed. The ground and the cobblestones that were beneath you are overgrown with grasses that poke through them, giving a carpeted approach that bisects these streets and buildings. And you see, just over the top of the buildings, the movements of trees moving, which you assume to be treants, as they patrol in pairs, marching around.
We ought to get out of the street. You spot somewhere to hide.
There are a number of houses that are available for you to dive into.
Just make the closest one.
Okay, dive in. Everyone make a stealth check. Firmling and Asher at disadvantage.
Oh, don't you worry,
If
I already
we
am.
are stealthing, I will cast Pass Without Trace out of the staff.
So a plus 10 to everyone. Lyra,
41.
Foundling,
23.
Leela,
21.
Kalata, 33. Asher,
19.
Kafina,
19.
Cedric.
18.
Okay.
A good thing we had that plus 10. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. So
There's a lot of under 10s otherwise.
the group of you managed to make your way relatively quietly into one of the houses and close the door behind you, just as you feel the vibration of the footsteps of several of the treants turning and coming down this boulevard, marching towards you. You feel the vibrations as thump, thump, thump. And they stop not too far from where your house is. You feel grateful for the fact that the spell that Cedric has cast has covered your footprints at least, and has not parted the grass. So you hear the treants say in Sylvan to each other, "Thought I saw something. Are you sure?" "I'm not sure what." "Maybe they're fast. Then we better explore." Thump, thump, thump. So they continue on their patrol.
I will quietly pass this on to the rest of the party.
Yeah, Lyra, you also were able to translate that. And not you. You do know something that you...
I don't know Sylvan, but as soon as I hear a
Another
language,
language.
I go,
Tongues, okay.
Cowboy trees.
yeah.
Texas trees.
Good morning, them common folk coming round these here parts, them varmints.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
Could anyone tell where we were?
Where we should be heading?
Yeah. I kind of thought I recognized the area, but I'm not sure.
At the very least, are the direction the ents are, or the tree ents, sorry, are going in, is that towards the large central tree?
No, they are going away. They are moving along the street going towards the outer walls.
Right.
So this is one of the main spoke boulevards that comes out from the central hub that is the central point of Nexus. There are 8 of these that go along the cardinal points. So there is enough space for you kind of recognize that enough. You are on one of these.
Don't know exactly where we are, but we know which way to go. Of course, direction, we're on the Feywild, so direction itself is a bit skewed. The house we're in, presumably it's empty?
It is, or at least there is no one in the room that you are currently in. There are tables and chairs that have been overgrown and overturned by the sudden eruption of grass and other plants along the ground here, and vines have grown from the ceiling and sort of woven across, preventing an entrance to the upstairs.
I mean, would it make sense to just head for the centre? That seems like a likely place to find the visionary. And if all the security patrols are treants, that'll be easy to see coming. We can hide from them.
There are all those small flying creatures who we need to keep out of sight of if we can.
We can try to be stealthy.
Are the 8 major spokes sort of the only roads going in those directions, or are there smaller streets?
No, there are smaller streets that do cut in between, sort of wind their way as there are in most cities. But those are the main passageways that most trade and individuals will use to traverse, mostly because it's safer. But who knows?
We may be able to find a way not on the main street, at least. Shall we set off?
I think we should, but we should
Yes.
set off carefully.
Stealthily heading towards the centre.
Okay, so as you are heading out and making your way there, now you are traveling as opposed to hiding. I need you to all make a new stealth check, please.
Are we still without trace?
I will keep it permanently up. So
Yeah.
No!
Oh, yeah.
God for a +10.
Cedric,
18.
again, Skeletor.
17.
Is that a 1?
I rolled a 3.
Okay, Kafina,
31.
31. Nice. Asher,
13.
Leela,
26.
Foundling.
I got a natural 1, which gives a total of 16.
Okay, and Lyra.
I rolled really low, so I've only got a 29. That's a
Rangers. Okay. So the group of you look around the room to see, first of all, to find an alternative entrance out of here, but there isn't one. So you return to the main boulevards. Cedric, look around and make sure there are nothing obvious coming towards you. You manage to duck down the street slightly and duck into an alleyway. And you start winding your way through. As you do, you start to see it within this alleyway. There are what appear to be small holes in the ground, things that seem to have been recently dug. And it's a very real possibility that these are tunnels that are used by some of the burrowing folk that reside within the Feywild. As you continue along, making your way through the passageway, not making much sound, you stop after a short while as there is a chittering sort of coming from a space in front of you, as if it's a conversation of some sort. There's a little bit just far out of your reach to hear.
Can we see?
You cannot see anything that is making this noise. But as you're going along here, you are getting into deeper and deeper canopy, seemingly, as trees are growing out of various houses and have destroyed them completely. And there is thicker stuff coming in, so it's entirely possible they are in the trees, hiding, or around the corner in another building. Hello.
I've got a ring of X-ray vision.
Are you attuned to it?
Don't need to be.
Ah,
I'll use that.
okay then.
The fuck?
She's had that for a long time.
Yeah, did I have that? And then did
I think you
Cedric have
gave
it,
it
and
to
Cedric gave it to her because he's like, seems like this would be better
Okay.
for you.
So what does it let you do? You see within 30 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Flipping it.
Okay, you turn it on, you blink for a few seconds, you can see, looking through a house, there is a small family that is sat having dinner of rabbit folk.
Hey!
Just sat there, seems to be a rather rotund father who is sat reading what looks to be some sort of flyer that's printed on a leaf, with about a dozen children scamping about, sort of playing with each other and chittering and chatting at each other in quite low uncertain terms. A mother who is cooking away, and turns and starts to lay the table and present everything out. On the other side, as you look over, there is the house is unoccupied. And a couple of houses next door to it also appear to be unoccupied. There's nothing else that you see of any particular interest within 30 feet of you at this exact moment. But obviously, as you move along, more things may become revealed.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say that like, oh, there's a cute little bunnies in there. So there's obviously still surveillance here, but like, why would they still be here? Anyway, I can keep this up for a minute. So if we want to skedoodle, we can look as we go along. But that's not a threat, and I can't see any threats around us within immediate 30 feet. So.
Okay, let's keep sneaking along.
Okay. As you carry on, you notice a few other things that seem to be lurking around corners. There's a family of pixies that you find that are contained within a small. They look like they've taken over a birdhouse that they have just chosen to make as their domain. That is hanging on the back of one of the buildings. You also come past one of the trees that has erupted out of one of the buildings, and it has taken the house with it. As the branches have come up, they have literally grown and taken the house with it. And there is a family of owl folk that are in there that are fast asleep.
Oh, lots of little animals. Very cute. Let's get on the back, guys.
But the minute wears off, nothing seems to have come your way. You continue along your passageway. As you start getting closer to the center of the forest and this singular tree, there is a sense that just starts to weigh on each of you as the grass itself seems to start to impede your travel. But Lyra, being the skilled tracker and used to this sort of shenanigery of the Feywilds, is able to instruct Cedric in ways to communicate with this grass so that it will no longer be a problem for you. You do get the sense, though, that the majority of the wandering forces either are too quick, and sort of the tactics that you're aware of, Lyra, of this sort of force, that a lot of them rely on tricks. And they're not known to reveal themselves immediately if they can find ways around it. So with that in mind, you start keeping more of an eye out.
If only we had a trick of our own.
If only.
You're proud of yourself, Dom, aren't you?
That was a good joke, man.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Continue on your way until you come to what you presume to be some of the last bastions of protection that are within this alleyway, so are getting closer to the absolute center. There are roots which have erupted from the ground, quite thick, substantial ones, which bulge out, creating the area to be more difficult for you to traverse. But again, with their assistance, you're able to get around this fairly easily. But there is now a point where the roots are fully obstructing the passageway, sort of the last maybe 30 feet or so before you would get into the center proper. And it seems to be that for whatever growth patterns has come, the great tree has erupted and has divided the city into segments.
Before we go in, who should carry the prisoner? I'm willing to do it again, but what I gather didn't work out too well last time.
Well, hopefully we don't have a similar situation. I feel like you are the fastest, so it is best with you.
I agree.
Okay. I will take it then.
Could I
What-
maybe put a vote forward for Lyra, as if they try face stepping and or something like that, she could actually try catching them in the act.
And Lyra's more used to this surveying. Yes,
Hmm.
Lyra, you take it this time. If you're willing, of course.
I'm willing.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll take that. And we're pretty close now, right?
You are within, I would say you're within 100 feet of the base of the big tree.
Let's scale these roots and see what we're faced with.
I will cast protection from evil and good on
Okay.
myself.
Okay. All right, so you continue through. The passageway is, at this point, is impassable because of the roots, unless you choose to climb over them, so you would have to go around in order to get there, which does lead you back towards the main thoroughfare. But you continue around the corner. And as you see, there is a grove of smaller trees, obviously in comparison to this massive one that will be drawing all the nutrients, of trees that are maybe 50 foot tall, that are stood in a ring that surrounds it. And you also notice that there is what appears to be what would be known in some circles as a fairy circle of the boundary of mushrooms that seems to be surrounding this area, these pink and gold dotted mushrooms. Whether this was a catalyst that helped bring the Feywild into this or just part of the natural growth of things, you're not sure, but you can feel the presence, and particularly you, Lyra, who's attuned to that sort of magic, you can feel the overall overarching dominance of nature and the wild here. As you look out from the main thoroughfare, you look to see any way up this tree. The tree in itself, easily 300-400 feet in diameter, taking up the majority of the square and rising potentially a mile into the sky. What do you do?
There's a
Lick it.
lot.
Leroy Jenkins.
Absolutely fucking not. What Luke just described was definitely a trap.
Or maybe it's just, the picnic area where the pixies like to hang out. You
His
don't know.
face is way too poker face for it to be. He's giving away nothing.
Let's not go to a picnic area. If you go to a picnic area, you get your picture off.
I was going to say picnics are dangerous. Lyra, what do your elvish eyes see?
Generally speaking, not as much as Cedric's.
Hello, guys.
Now.
There's
But,
also two Lord of the Rings references tonight. Kind of
3,
Right.
actually. Yeah, the second one, no one really picked up on other than Matt.
Well, I heard it, I just ignored it.
Yeah, it's for the best.
Oh, maybe I missed it.
Share the load.
No.
So I'm hesitant to cross the fairy ring, but I'm not sure I see a way round it.
Maybe we can break the ring?
Are these small mushrooms or are they giant mushrooms? Or...
They are small.
And we think they ring the entire tree.
That's the assumption that you make. It rings it as far as you can see here, and it goes right away across the thoroughfare, but you don't know whether it then continues into sort of 5 passageways and just continues to make a ring going through the buildings.
Question, you just referred to building. I'm not sure if you were actually referring to the tree. Does it look like it has interior parts? I have no idea what kind of...
You can't tell. You can't tell whether the tree has got any interior room structure.
You know how there's those trees that almost look like they're lots of trees bound together?
This isn't one of those. This is closer to sort of a great oak or like one of the big redwood trees.
Okay, cool.
I was referring to the buildings that are just dust around the part of Nexus that were here before this overgrowth happened.
Lyra, do we assume that the visionary here is at the top of the tree?
Don't know about top. Trick said he saw him.
Did he say where?
I think he said something about a balcony.
Can we see any ledges, balconies, handholds,
Make
holds any way up?
Make a perception check.
Perception. Ooh, 18.
Okay. You look around the outside. The tree itself is seemingly quite knotted bark, so it would not be unreasonable to attempt to climb on the outsides. From what you can see from your standpoint, you can't see anything that would necessarily be a balcony, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility. There is one further up that you just can't see because of distance.
We could just start climbing and see how we get on.
Oh, we're not to the trunk yet.
The reason I asked is because if what we want to do is go straight up, we shouldn't waste time trying to get over these roots and, climb up the trunk. If we do, we're going to get spotted. The quicker thing to do would be for Leela to get her carpet out and we just go straight up.
It can't carry all of us, can it?
I mean, it doesn't have to carry me. I've got my broom. Or I can cast a spell on myself or someone else.
It doesn't have to carry the lightest person.
She's not the lightest person anymore.
Yeah, she's lighter than the majority of the party. Leela's probably the lightest.
It doesn't have to carry me either. I could climb well with my arms and run up vertical surfaces.
I'm just more worried about us getting attacked as we're climbing. I just think if we're going somewhere, the quicker the better. Especially if it's going to be we're going somewhere out in the open that the sides of the tree are visible from a great distance.
I'm pretty sure we're visible from a great distance while we're stood here talking as well.
Are we?
Asher believes she is. I didn't feel very stealthy. Yeah.
It's like the whole time you've been like proper chest out, ready to go. You just wouldn't crouch like the rest of us.
I can't crouch. I'm in full plate. It's upright or nothing.
That's the difference between full plate and half plate. You can crouch in half plate.
Yes, can't crouch. Prerequisite.
Half plate lets you bend at the knees.
I believe this is up to you spellcasters. I can't fight my way up it, so
Asher,
yes.
can you summon a wolf?
I can summon many wolves.
What do you think about summoning just one and sending it across the line?
I mean, yeah, I can do that. I mean, I can only do it once a day, so it's kind of a wolf or a Pegasus. But if you feel it'll help, I can.
I didn't realise it was wolf or Pegasus. And the Pegasus.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it has one charge.
Could Leela send a drone across the line?
Okay, but they're obviously metal and machines, not people, so I don't know if that would make a difference.
I mean, if you're looking for an experiment, I'm more than willing to walk across this plane.
I can send a drone across. I'll send a drone across.
Okay, you send the drone out. Droney or drone out?
Drone.
Okay, Droney. It sort of floats out into the area. You see as in one of the trees, an owl folk poking head out. Flies over to it. You just sort of standing, flying there, looking at it. Takes it in its hands and just looks at it.
Hands?
Yeah. It grabbed it and then landed. It has an owl folk. Oh, folk. It's not an owl. It's kind of cool.
And that's when Leela realizes that she's put a packet of grenades on there.
The grenade that's in a smiley face. It looks at it. Reaches down, just sort of grabs it in its taloned claws, and then just takes off and starts flying up.
I scry for it.
Okay. So it flies up the whole way, flying up, goes out, goes about 3/4 of a mile up, and then flies, starts going and is rotating around and lands on a balcony and begins. What languages do you speak?
Not
What's the
commonly
right
known as.
one?
Okay. You do not understand this language, but as it lands, you can see through the drone, through the talons, as it's then being passed up to the hand, and it's pointed into the room. This room that it's pointed at is a very luxurious room. There is a deep shagpile style carpet, which is just springy moss, a number of shaved lounges laid around with a number of attractive female satyrs that are just milling about, with a single, slightly portly satyr with sort of grey flecks in his goatee and quite long spiral horns and a vest, just sort of sat, legs spread, just plucking fruit from a bowl and feeding himself. As the creatures start speaking to each other, the satyr on the tree seems to look nonplussed for a while and then sort of looks around and sits up, reaches across and picks up a staff, just sort of knotted haythorn staff and sort of twists up, and sort of hand forming at the top. And just nods to the outfolk, and they take your drone and they place it onto a sort of flat, sort of like a flat wooden plate, and as it does, the sort of wild speckly vines just grow up and encase it, so it is contained within a cage, like a bird. And then steps forward and has a look. And it's just staring this portly face with what looks to be, as you look closer, it looks like his lips and teeth are slightly wine-stained, as it just stares with bloodshot eyes, looking deeply into the sight, and just flicks the camera from your perspective. Really disconcerting, like being flicked in the face. Just someone coming over and just flicking with the glasses. Hanya. Korosnia. See. Was. Turns. And your vision fades from the scry spell.
So I found the bad guy.
Good. Any information?
I was going to ask if there's any sign of the owl folk returning.
Or what, sorry?
The owl folk coming back.
Make a perception check.
$28.
You look up, you see a sort of silhouette coming from as you're looking at it, the sort of eastern side So it comes out and then moves around the far sides. So if you guys are at the southern point, it comes out and then goes around to the north and seems to be heading off in that direction. And then it disappears from your sight.
Hasn't come back from where it started. Did you see anything useful either?
Well, it took me into a giant, very, very fancy for a tree room. And if that's the big Satan guy that we're looking for, he's in there. I can't. Did it look like that was the entire tree, or was it just a room?
That looked like it was a room.
It's not big, it's just outside cages. Right?
Yeah, he's a normal sized Satan.
So can I point to? Obviously, they saw where the hole was going, which hole it went into.
Yeah, rough. It's all where it came out of, at least.
Not where the owl took it into.
It's kind of the same thing, but it's difficult to see because it is up and around to the side a little bit, so you can kind of get a good estimate of where it is. But when it's three quarters of a mile away, it's quite difficult to get a rough idea.
Well, it goes around slightly, so we probably need to travel around. No point going up. Does it look like there's like multiple different rooms in this tree?
From where you guys are, entirely possible. The family spotted a lot of different knots, and from what you saw as the drone was going up, there were quite a lot of what looked like windows.
Yeah.
That could lead out onto the balconies.
This is basically a really fancy hotel. And we want a room that's kind of more on the like east side of the tree. I don't know, east, side, west.
East from where you guys are.
Basically, we don't go up, we go around, and then we go up. I can cast fly. I can get I can use the carpet, but he now knows that there's something there. He said something. I don't know what it was, but he's probably aware that someone's here. Might not know that we're here, but someone's here.
Do you remember the words he said?
Make an intelligence check.
Ooh, he doesn't. Just a straight punch. 16.
16. She does speak a few words to you, Lyra. What it roughly translates to you is summon the kumquats. They'll be needed. Yeah.
Need to move fast.
I agree. I think we shouldn't make our attack now.
So do we
Before the
just
kumquats get here.
cross, or do we go up to just pick a room at random?
I mean,
Room at random, we don't know what we're going into.
Leela, if you were driving the carpet, do you think you could go directly towards, follow the path that your little drone took?
Possibly, probably. I can get us probably within a good range of the window. I wouldn't know exactly because I don't know how many windows are that side, but I've got a pretty good estimate of where on the tree he is.
That's fine. We'll get close enough to where you think it might be, and we'll start blasting open windows until we see him.
We may not all be able to get up at once. It may be a case of ferrying us to a lower level.
No.
My Pegasus can take at least 2 of us.
I can climb and run. I'll be fine.
We want to try and keep us all together. I think it's 4 on the carpet, 1 on my broom, 2 on the Pegasus. That makes 7.
Thus,
Am I right about the 4 on the carpet, by the way? I forget.
I think as long as
It depends on who is on the carpet. If it's Cedric, that brings the number of people down quite a lot.
Cedric,
me and Cedric can possibly go on my Pegasus. It wouldn't be very great for it, but it could fly.
The broom actually can do 400 pounds, so it just doesn't have enough room for more than one person.
Yeah, how heavy is Cedric?
More than 400 pounds, I would assume.
Oh, is it? I'm used to metrics, so 400 pounds sounds like a lot.
Yeah,
Really?
he's like
Pounds is a hell of a lot.
he's like 300 pounds. I think.
Carpet can carry 1,600.
But that's then with equipment on top of that.
Mm.
What have we ever counted equipment?
It matters for things like this.
Well, it only goes half speed if it's more than 1,600.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't say it can't carry it.
I think it gets like 32 and then stop being able to fly.
Oh, it halves its speed if it carries over 800 pounds.
Okay.
What's the speed of the carpet?
30 feet.
Yeah, so that's not the one we want to slow down because the broom is 50 feet. And the broom does the same thing. It goes at like half speed once it reaches max. So.
And the Pegasus is 90 feet. So
But how much they carry?
with me and Cedric on it, I'd say it would probably die when it got there, but it could do it.
Yeah. What's the strength of the Pegasus?
Yeah, but Luke.
18 plus 4.
You work out the carrying capacity of a Pegasus. I believe it's 15 times. So it can carry about 270 pounds. So it could probably just about manage Asher in full armor.
I'm 148 with all of my stuff.
Okay. In which case it could easily manage Asher.
148 pounds.
That's what it says, yeah.
Is that just your equipment though, or is that including yourself?
Oh, does weight not count everything?
I think the weight is
I'm carrying 148 pounds.
Yeah.
But it's also all in a bag of holding as well,
Apart from the armor that you're wearing in Shatterfang.
which is 60 pounds. And
Yeah.
Shatterfang is 6 pounds. So 66 pounds.
So we would say Asher pretty strong. We're probably looking at about. She's probably all in. She's probably around 200 pounds with the armor and everything else.
Sorry, quick one. I don't know if Lyra was recanting everything to us, but how long did it take for her to? Do we know how long it took for the thing to get up there?
It was flying faster than you guys were able to fly, so it was sort of flying about twice the speed that the carpet can. It took maybe 5 minutes for it to get up there.
Okay. I can fly for 10 minutes on a spell that I can also use for combat. So if someone else wants to take the broom, we should have more than enough.
I repeat, it was 3/4 of a mile roughly that it was flying up.
We need to go from the bottom and hope there's a lift.
And the elevator is going to open, and the guys that he's been summoned, the kumquats, are all going to be standing there.
It'd been really great if we had like a genie or something that could cast like wind walk or something on us.
Yeah, that takes a minute for us to turn off. Remember, we're like, hang on, don't attack us yet. We're not corporeal.
Hashtag no regret.
Hashtag spring underwear works.
So are we in agreement? Broom, spell, Pegasus, carpet.
Whoever gets us up there.
Yep, that's all of us.
Okay, so who is taking what mode of transport?
Pegasus.
Ashley's on the Pegasus.
What's able to carry me? Do we decide it was the Pegasus in the end?
No, the Pegasus could carry you on its own. It could not carry both you and Asher.
Actually, I probably don't even need the spell. Couldn't I just share the broom with Lyra, and then the carpet can take Cedric, Kalatar, Foundling, and Lever?
I thought the broom couldn't carry two.
It's weight capacity.
Wait, no, but yeah, we're both.
No, in terms of actual room.
I thought me and Lyra would probably be quite light out of the rest of the people. So
Lyra flies the broom and you sit on her shoulders.
Lyra is quite thin, but really quite tall. She's well over 6 foot, and she's wearing half plate armor.
If I'm 200 pounds, what do you reckon Lyra weighs?
Lyra, I would say
More like 180, maybe.
But yeah, probably maybe a little bit less than that, maybe 175, 170.
So realistically, me and Lyra could go on the Pegasus without encumbering it. If the
Yeah.
carrying capacity of the Pegasus is 400,
Yes,
we'd come up to 380.
yes.
Which is 2 pretty bulky characters compared to the rest.
I'm willing to give it a try.
Would look really cool. As, you know, a bare minimum.
Definitely need Ride of the Valkyries playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, Mithralis on one, Shadowfang on the other, and a Pegasus coming in. That just very 80s action movie.
Yes, Laura. Are you just looking at your fingers?
Searching for an answer somewhere.
I think we've figured out that we can do it with just the equipment we have, right? DM? God?
But you tell me. You haven't actually told me what you're doing.
Yeah, me and Lyra will go on the Pegasus.
Yep.
Cedric has to take the broom.
Cedric going on the broom, okay.
And the others can all go on the carpet.
Okay.
The main problem being myself and Cedric.
Yeah.
Which is solved.
Which you resolve. Okay. So as the group of you get your various flying implements out, and you... Yes, Dom?
I was going to say, if Founding is going on the carpet, they are going to sheathe their war picks. They have a hand free for doing deflect missiles if required.
Okay. Alrighty then. So as you mount up and you set out to make your journey up, you kick off from the ground, the Pegasus leading the charge, the broom following a very bulky Cedric, the world's worst keeper.
That would look hilarious. Seeing Cedric on a tiny little... Well, because I'm seeing it a broom built for original Kafina. So it's kind of like his whole body's just encompassing this tiny twig. And it's just rocketing.
I'm just holding it and being carried up like this.
On Mary Poppins, yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest of the party sat upon the carpet, it's slowly following up behind, keeping an eye out. As it does start to rise up, Kelzar and Foundling and Kafina, the three of you sort of keeping a watch out below, see trees start to move and look up and you're flying and reach down and each take a rock, pull back their arms and throw. And that is where we'll pick up next week.
So as I said, I was having a hand free for deflect missiles.
I don't think you can deflect that missile. Ash is going to deflect it with her face.
I'm so glad I'm right next to Foundling.
Lyra's going, what have I got on the horse with the lowest AC character?
Well, you've got your armor on, you're fine.
Yeah, just a bullet magnet then.
Yeah.
I might have something, maybe.
Ooh.
Depends.
I
We'll
have.
see.
It's going, yeah, just vertical climbing.
Right like the wind, bullseye.
Alrighty then.
About bullseye, it's a really bad name.
Alrighty. So we will pick that up next time. Thank you very much for joining us in this endless quest for trying to get God's answers. It seemed to go well-ish. Where is the blimp? We will find out where that goes next week when Trians attack. So we shall pick this up next time. So, sorry?
That's the title of next week's episode, right?
What?
Yeah.
When Trians attacks.
Trians attack, yeah.
Sounds like a D&D 50s B movie.
Don't worry.
It's attack.
On the top of the blimp.
Dun.
On the top of the blimp, there's a small steam vent that's only about a swamp rat across. And if you manage to fire a beam in there, it just explodes.
That seems like really shoddy design. No craftsman would ever sign off on such a obvious.
You just put some ply over it or something. Just to
Yeah,
cover it.
I thought it's fine.
Vents are important. If not, you get fires.
It'll be fine. I used to bullseye rodents of unusual size all the time back home.
Yeah, vents are important, but you don't necessarily need one that's open.
I mean,
But
that's kind of why you need vents, like for the airing. Yeah.
In outer space.
Yeah. Exactly.
anyway, whilst we reference a film that I have not seen, thank you very much for joining us. Take care of yourselves out there. Stay safe. Thank you. See you next time. Good night.
And I'm tired of surviving. If there was a zombie apocalypse, I'd let my dog eat me. The situation's dire and my house is on fire, but at least she'd be healthy. If there was a zombie apocalypse, I'd let my dog eat me. There are zombies full of lead and my friends are all dead, but at least she'd be healthy. I wish I had more time, but there goes my spine. I'm not alone because she's chewing my bones. My body's bleeding out, she's eaten half my torso now. Think I'm losing my eyesight, I've been here all night. If there was a zombie apocalypse, I'd let my dog eat me. The situation's dire and my house is on fire, but at least she'd be healthy. If there was a zombie apocalypse, I'd let my dog eat me. There are zombies full of lead and my friends are all dead, but at least she'd be healthy. If there was a zombie apocalypse, I'd let my dog eat me. The situation's dire and my house is on fire, but at least she'd be healthy. If there was a zombie apocalypse, I'd let my dog eat me. There are zombies full of lead and my friends are all dead, but at least she'd be healthy.